Hey Steve with Entering in Space. And you know, typically I like process, when I do process videos, I process the image and I make sure that any like gotchas or unknowns I kind of work through, so that way, you know, when I present it to you, it's very polished and professional and just gleaming with perfection. Anyway, so I figured this time, what the crap, man, I'm just gonna show you like from the start. So I've been shooting the Boogeyman Nebula in HA RGB, and I did shoot one last night. So I'm just gonna bring the data in. I'm gonna blink it. I'm gonna show you how I filter through the images and run through weighted batch pre-processing. Get everything stacked. I'm not gonna bore you with all that stuff. I'm gonna hit the highlights. So we're gonna run everything through, get it stacked, get it combined, and process it for the very first time while I'm being recorded. Not watched live, but recorded. All right, so let's look at our last data set here. Had a pretty good last little night. Let's go over here to process. We're gonna blink our images, image inspection, blink. I was just gonna shoot HA all night long and it was so clear and the seeing was so much better that I stopped the run and shot some RGB too. So come on, auto run, light, boogie. Wait, I did field of view, sorry. Type, we wanna go to fits, select the first one, Control A, select them all, and click open. These big old files, it takes forever to open all these files. All right, so I'm just gonna select any image here, Control A again, select them all, and I'm gonna apply the automatic histogram. So they all have an equal stretch, or maybe a similar stretch. So what I typically do here in Blink is I'll scroll all the way down. I'll go to the very last image. The only reason I do that is that if I find one I don't like as I scroll up, I can just delete it and I don't really lose my place. It's just easier that way. We're gonna go to the bottom. Boogeyman Nebula, not a lot there, but when we stack it, we're gonna see quite a bit of detail. So really all I'm looking for is stars, any kind of glitch. I'm just rolling through with the mouse wheel, seeing if anything's funky. See if I had any passing clouds. See that? See how that one's eh. Then that one's totally gone. So see, I just can delete it. Boom, right back. So a little passing, couple little passing clouds. Keep that one. That's a good. This is in the moonlight too. I don't really zoom in and check smaller star. If I did that, I would probably have to get rid of every image, especially with you know, Blur Exterminator and the correction algorithm. It really tightens your stars up. So I don't worry too much. Now, if I see some double stars, I'll definitely get rid of those. Now we're into the reds. So we got some good signal here on this little star and this reflection nebula, which is good. The new moonlight focuser on the 10-inch Orion Newtonian. See how is working well. Now we're in the greens. Got a couple satellites in there, but nothing major. See how that, oh, we're going to blue. That's the change. Blues. All right, cool. We had a good night. Wait, that one's, yeah, let's do to that one. All right, so now select any of them. Control A to select them all. We're gonna go to new volume, 2600, Orion, Boogie. This is my second set of lights. All right, so they've been saved to the folder. We can close this out. All right, so let's open up our stacking program here. Let's go to scripts, batch pre-processing. Everything's different. I do have the new PixInsight 1.9, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm gonna reset. I'm gonna clear all the, oops, purge cache. I'm gonna clear the files. So I've been noticing some problems in WBPP. So if you're watching this and you're like, Steve, just do this, I would greatly appreciate it. The problem I'm having is when I stack, especially RGB, when I dump everything in there, because I only shoot flats and dark flats. When I dump everything in there, getting some weirdness. So I'm actually having to run each filter separately. Let's go ahead and set our folder down here, Boogie. This is my test. So I'm going to create another new folder called WBPP. And I need to label this HA. So I'll select that folder. So let's go ahead, let's get our flats. Click the flats button. So I'm just going to do HA. So 15-second flats. Can you believe that? Hold the shift key down. Flats. Darks are going to be my dark flats. And you see it labeled darks. So 15-second dark flats. Shift key. Load the dark flats up. I did shoot biased. I got a recommendation to shoot some bias with this because I'm getting a lot of hot pixel issues where weighted batch pre-processing is not removing the hot pixels. So I am going to tackle this in 2 ways. I'm going to load these. These are 0.2-second bias. Shift. All right, I'm going to grab my lights. So I'm going to run HA right now. So let's grab our lights here. And I've got 2 light folders. Just got to grab just the HAs. I have no idea how much. I've just been shooting. Let's grab the rest of our HAs. They're in this other lights folder. I'd be surprised to see what I got. And I feel like, yeah, okay, whatever. I should have some HAs in here called field of view. That's the kind of crappy thing about the ASI Air is if you're not careful, you could, see how I have light boogie. And then look, I got M45s. It's because I was shooting M45. I forgot to change the name when I ran the auto run. So that kind of sucks. I wish there was a way to clean that up. And then I did a field of view because I was just slewing to calibrate guiding. And now I have a whole bunch of field of views. But I've got all my HAs loaded in here. So let's see what we got. There's there. Let's look at post calibration. 14 hours of HA. And 42 minutes. So let's go back to calibration. Here's one thing that I'm having to do here. Right here where the light frames are listed, 147 frames. Click on that. This cosmetic correction, I'm having to lower this down to like 3. Lower the number, the more aggressive it is clipping those hot pixels. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drizzle. So enable. I'm going to drizzle to a scale of 2. So 2 times. I've got my folder selected, where my output folder, where everything is going to go. And now it's just a matter of running it. I'm not going to enable fast integration. I'm going to leave all that unchecked. And then what else did I do? Over here in my lights, I want to say in the image integration, I changed the rejection. Instead of auto, I've got it to Winsorized. So that's what I'm having to do to get rid of all these hot pixels. I'm going to run this. I'm going to get a master image. And I'm going to repeat this process for red, blue, green. Meet you back here to start actually processing. Well, that only took 1 hour and 35 minutes. Let's see what we got here. Done. Done. Close. File. And let's check out the HA mono drizzle to auto crop. I do have auto crop on just because if it does a good job and I dig it, then I don't have to resolve the image later. Oh, that looks pretty dang good. No hot pixels. Stars look good. That's gonna make a pretty cool image. Let's move on to the script. Go back into weighted batch pre-processing. And we're going to have to remove everything and then run this separately and then star line and then start processing. So, I know. Leave a comment down below if you think I'm an idiot. I mean, specifically about this. All right, cool. So here's our red. Everything's done. Our red channel turned out pretty good. Still see a little bit of that off-axis guider that didn't flat out. Let's go ahead and change this to something easy, simple. R for red. A green. Got something to check my filter wheel. I don't know. I got something funky going on. It's not scope related. Rename that G. We're going to simplify this. And let's go back in here and open up our hydrogen and our blue channel. We are going to have to star align these. I did do the red and the green at the same time, just because I was lazy, and it turned out okay. You just never know. So yeah, you see this, I don't know. Something's going on in the, something's going on. That's all I can say. I got to figure it out. But that's part of astrophotography, always figuring something out. Blue. Gotta get our HA. Which we're going to use our HA as our luminance. So it shouldn't be too bad. And the wonderful HA. Cool. So I think what I'm going to do is probably use the green as my reference image, because I do have to crop out a little bit on it. And that'll crop the rest of them. So I'm going to go ahead and open up dynamic crop. Move this in a little bit. Just right there. Like so. Drag that off in case I need it later. And crop it. Yes. So let's go in here to process, all processes, star alignment. And like I said, we'll use our green as our reference image. Right there. Blue, HA, and red. And apply global. All right, cool. These are our registered images as it states in the tag. There's the green. And then we can get rid of these. Delete. All right. So we've got a pretty heavy gradient, and I have been playing around with this new gradient extraction and the Mars. So far Mars has been way too aggressive. I've had pretty good luck with the gradient extraction. I've watched Pixinsight's videos numerous times. Still a little puzzled, but let's give it a shot here. So the gradient correction tool, and I find it, since I'm shooting monochrome and I've got all these grayscale images, I find it better to just correct the gradient in this form instead of trying to combine it. I feel like I get a better result. So this thing's got a lot of doodad buttons. I'm basically just keeping structure protection on, and I am going to run the automatic convergence because it seems to clean up the outside edges better, and leave everything else default. So that actually did pretty good. That actually did pretty dang good. All right, cool. I've still got a little funkiness over here, but I'm not going to sweat it. Open up a red. So see, we've got a really dark corner down in here. So same thing. Leave everything at default. Let it rip. You can see how it flattened out, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Still good. Blue. Oof, blue is atrocious. It's definitely a filter thing. See how well it does. I'm excited. Yeah, see, I still got a ring in here. And hopefully it won't show up too bad in the final image. But, yeah. Definitely something to work on. It's always something to work on. You know, those rare moments where everything works, embrace them. Hug them really tight, because they are few and far between. And then HA, definitely got some darker over here. I just want to make sure we're not detracting from this nebulosity that we have in here, because it is pretty good. I don't think we did. I think we flattened it out pretty well. Groovy. All right, so next step, HA. We are not going to use the HA stars at all. We are going to use our RGB stars. So let's go ahead and pull the stars. Open up Star Exterminator. I'm going to turn off gradient or generate star image because I don't want to. I am going to turn on large overlap because it does a better job cleaning, especially with the star spikes. All right, one thing I realized when I ran Star Exterminator was these images are still quite large, so that took forever. Okay, so what we're gonna do is come here to process all processes. We're gonna look for integer resample. We're gonna downsample by a factor of 2, and that should speed up this little process that we got going on here. And the red looks good. See, my red looks great. My blue and green are horrendous. Horrendous. All right. Red. So red did really good, but let's add some of this HA to the red. And got a really cool tool in scripts for doing that. It's worked really well. And in the Jurgen's toolbox, if you don't have that, check out the script. It's in combination with the SETI Astro tools. His tools are invaluable. Definitely give him some loving. But what we want to look for is this combine HA with RGB. And this works, I've found, for like if you want to add oxygen to your blue channel, even though he's got RGB view and H alpha only, it doesn't matter. It's just subtracting and combining. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the drop down list. We're going to choose our red image. That's going to pop up there. We're going to choose our HA with the stars removed. And watch the magic. See that? Let's see. Make it bigger. Oh, can I make it bigger? I could zoom in. So let's increase the amount. Yeah. Cool. So you see we're picking up some of this background HA. We're definitely adding to the HA nebulosity within the main structure. So I'm going to accept that. Okay. So let's go back in time. See how much it's added. Oh, and it's a real easy way to do it. I've tried so many different ways. It does add, yeah, it's adding some out here too. So cool. All right, let's minimize. So let's go ahead and combine these channels. Let's open up a channel combination. Put everybody in their little happy little home. In their hole. Get in your hole! I think I've said that a ton of times. And apply global. Let's open up the STF. We're going to unlink the channels and hit the little nuclear button. And you can see that blue ring in there. Ugh. I've got some garbage out here too. Let's try something. Let's come in here to script. Let's go in here to the SETI tools, automatic DBE. Let's just run that on this image here. And we don't want to show the gradient model. And we're just going to execute on this combined image. Stretch it. Is it any better? It's a little better. Let's kind of cut out some of that HA over here though. But it's definitely better. Let's compare. Yeah, I think it's better. I'm going to push this one down here and see if some standard color correction helps this. First thing I want to do is open up scripts. So the image solver is now an astrometry image solver. Let's see, so all the data is already here. So it's already got my longitude and latitude. If it didn't, I'd have to search for that, for this nebulosity, but because it's already populated, let's just go ahead and run it. If that doesn't work that way, don't try that at home. You gotta hit OK. All right, cool, so it solved it. And the reason we had to do that was that we want to use a color calibration technique that requires the metadata to tell it exactly to plate solve where in the sky. And that would be under processes, color calibration, spectrophotometric color calibration, and we also need to choose an area of the background right there. Got to change my filters. I'm using the Antlia. I'm pronouncing that right. Be nice to have a little button that says, hey, all my filters are the same. Oh, region of interest is that background sample. So let's click on the sample. Let's drag it over here. Drop it on the preview. And let it rip. Everything else is default. Okay, so let's kill F12, kills the auto stretch. Let's restretch it. That did help some. I still got this blue ring that's bugging me, man. Let's open this gradient correction one more time. See if we can't clean this thing up. Let's turn off structure protection. And drag it over. That structure protection would be for like Orion Nebula. You know, something super bright. Anyway, let's get rid of this. So now, we've got some choices here. Do we want to stretch our stars afterwards? Or stretch them with the image? First, before we do that, any stretching, because we're real close to the stretching part. Let's do a preview. Let's check our stars. Let's open up Blur Exterminator, and I like to run the correction in the linear atmosphere. And then I usually run the Blur Exterminator deconvolution after I've stretched it. So Control-Alt-Z. Yeah. Yep. That's helping. Okay, everything's been corrected. And let's reduce the noise by like 50%. Just because I hate stretching noise. I want to enhance the grain. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch the image. I'm going to keep a tab on my stars as I'm stretching. I think I've got good star color. This area up here bugs me. I may have to fix it in Photoshop. So I can really just attack the colors. Unfortunately, but it's just what it is. Still got my little split star trails on the old Newtonian. Whatever. And then I'll pull the stars. And then we'll stretch the hydrogen for luminance, place that over, and then put the stars back. What do you think? Cool? So let's kill the auto stretch. Let's come in here to GHS. Open up a real-time preview. Let's zoom in on the histogram here by hitting this little plush. That's big zoom. So you see how I'm kind of far off the left-hand side. If I hit that 250 and the histogram peak was like right over here, I wouldn't mess with it. But because it's pushed so far off, let's reset the black point. So we're going to come just behind the histogram peak. Click. See how it turns yellow. This generalized hyperbolic, we need to change that to linear. And now it says send to BP or black point. So click that. See how it pushes it back. And then we're going to accept that. We'll reset the tool, and then let's come in here and come right, almost, this is dead center. We're going to get right behind it just a little bit. Click that as our symmetry point, say send to symmetry point, and then our stretch factor will start our stretch. And we want to see the image, and then now you see we're starting to see some nebulosity in here, which is cool, but you see our stars are getting blown out. So let's push the local intensity down. Watch that star. Raise the stretch up right there. Deal with the local intensity. Cool. Remember, this is just our color image. This is not our details. And accept it. Cool. All right, so now we got to pull our stars and we'll put them back in. So open up Star Exterminator. We do want to generate a star image. Because we've stretched them, we have to check unscreen. And then we do want to apply a large overlap, so we make sure we get all our little spikies. All right, stars are out. Did a really good job. Push that down here. Let's try something really quick here. See, we've got this. Man, this ring just bugs me, man. Ugh. Let's go here to script. Utilities. Let's go in the color mask. Click a green mask. Let's blur it by 4. See what it pulls. It's kind of like the opposite. Delete that. Script. Utilities. Color mask. Try a blue mask. Blur it. Yeah, you can definitely see the ring. We don't want to lose any of this. Just this kind of that bluish halo around the star. Let's try to open up curves here. Let's try to open up curves. Let's open up curves. We're in the RGBK. See where. So dim. Do a real-time preview. Gonna make this mask kind of bright. Right there. Boink. Okay. And then I want to get rid of this. So I'm going to open up process, all processes, clone stamp. Click into the image. I want a big wide brush here, so I'm going to change that to 200. I'm going to drop the opacity. I'm going to increase the softness. And I've got to reach out here to some black area. So I'm going to point at this black area, hit the control, and move it out, and just kind of diminish this. That's our little star halo. We don't want to mess with that. So everything else, I think we'll have some adjustment. Look at. All right, let's drag our mask over. See what we can do here. We're gonna right click on the image, go to mask, and say show mask. So now it's just trying to do some manipulation here. I hate it, but it is what it is. Where is this at? It's right here. You know what? You know why you're not seeing anything happen? Because I didn't do a real-time preview. There we go. Right here. Let's boost a little red. That brings the magenta in. Actually, let's just take an RGBK and try to just darken it. Remember, this is just the color. So, before, after. Yeah, we don't want to darken it too much. Okay, that's what we're left with. So before, after. Mask, let's remove it. I'm not going to go any further. We are going to apply our luminance. Now, man, that's spooky looking in there. It does look like a boogeyman. Look at that. Wow. So let's check out our HA here. See, our HA doesn't have, it'll block whatever we have going on in this little area here. As a matter of fact, I want to emphasize this some. So I'm going to come in here to script, utilities, and I'm going to come in here to the game script. Because this is this really cool reflection nebula going on. I also want to protect it, and I put the HA over it because the HA will just swamp this. So let's choose a multi-point. We're going to zoom in here, click, add, point. Just going to mask out this crazy looking dude here. Cool. Click OK. And we've got gradient mask selected. I find that works the best because I can just blur that. So let's blur it. Let's come here to convolution. Oh my god, my tools are... Okay. Real-time preview. Standard deviation. We're just going to blur that out. Right there. I want a good heavy blur. Let's drop that on the image. That down here. So let's show the mask. You can see everything else is masked out except for that. And I'm going to open up curves. And I'm going to adjust the luminance. I'm going to brighten it up just a little bit. And then I'm really going to crank the saturation up, which it's hard to really see much going on. Actually going to add some blue in there because it kind of swapped with green. Yeah, see, that's a little too much. The C component, well, here we'll add like vibrance, I guess, for lack of a better term. Let's boost a little more saturation in there. And brighten it just a little more. Right there. All right. So now we want to, let's see, remove the mask. So we're going to get ready to put this luminance and the HA on top, but I think I want to run some noise reduction on this before I do it. Across the whole image. Just kind of clean up some of this chrominance noise that we're seeing. Cool. So what we want to do is we want to take this mask and put it back on because we want to protect that area when we put the hydrogen on it. And we're going to invert it. Invert mask. So if we show what that looks like, see just that area has been protected. Mask and show mask. So this is our RGB image here. So we got to stretch our HA. Cool. Let's run some noise reduction on it first. I swear. Come on. 50%. Left a little star in there, but it isn't too bad. All right. So F12 will kill the auto stretch. Let's open up GHS. You can see how far that's pushed over. That's way off. So let's come right behind it. Click. In the generalized selector, we're going to choose linear. We're going to say send to BP. And we're going to hit the little square to accept it. And then reset the tool. So let's bump this zoom in one more time. Boom. Let's get right dead center of this. Just back of center. Click. Send to SP. And then we're going to stretch. In a true fashion, Pixel Sight looks terrible in the stretch. It won't look this way when I'm done, but the real-time preview looks like garbage. Put that right there. Because everything's so faint, we're really not having to adjust our symmetry point. See, that's better. So I think what I'm going to do is close that down and open up curves. I have a little more black point control now that I've stretched it. This area in here. So I'm just going to create a small real-time preview again. Oh, I got to choose the RGBK. All right. So we're still pretty noisy. So let's run another heavy dose of noise reduction. We're going to leave it at the default settings. All right, so let's open up our image 23. Remember, we have our mask on protecting our little reflection nebula right here. We're going to open up channel combination. We're going to do things a little different this time. We're going to choose a color space, which is the CIE lab space, to get a better color representation. We're going to turn off the A and the B channel. We're going to take our HA, drop it right there, and then we're going to drag and drop. That's not bad. It's a little pinkish, which we can probably fix with curves, if curves will open. And you see our little reflection nebula there did pretty well. It survived. Before we do that, let's do this. Let's minimize that image. Let's go back into that tool, utilities, for adding HA. Toolbox, combined HA with RGB. And now we're going to select image 23. Yeah. And then our H alpha stretched is going to be our H alpha registered. So let's see what it does. Oh, yeah. You see what that, see? Let's back that down. It's a little much, but it definitely gave us the red we're looking for. I like that. I like that little addition. Yeah. Got rid of some of that pink. Cool. All right, so we got to change the name of this image now to starless. So the pixel math formula will work. I got to look over my microphone. Just starless. And our stars, we have to change their identifier to just stars. Awesome. And then I already have star screen saved, which is basically just the formula that they tell you about in Star Exterminator. Yeah, where you say where it checks unscreened stars. You see the formula right there. I did it quick. Anyway, this is the formula. Let's put the stars back in. Oh, we got some magenta in there that I might try to work on in Photoshop. So our stars got a little glow, but they're sharp. They could be sharper. So one thing about Blur Exterminator that I don't really like is that all these little stars, it will sharpen all them. And that's not really how we see. You know, we don't really see that way. We see things up close and focus. Things in the background should be just a tad blurry. So it would be nice if old Russell Croman could actually add some slide parameter that would omit the smaller stars. I mean, I don't even know if that's possible, but it would be nice if it is. But until then, we're going to create a range mask to get just the brightest stuff in this image. So just this lower limit, we're going to slide it forward until, you know, we're kind of like right there. This is pretty caveman, but it is what it is. So when we hit the smooth, you see a lot of those little stars start to disappear. All right, so this big star here, he's still on his spikies. They're all the big stars are still collected in. Everything white is going to be sharpened. Everything in black won't. So let's just select that. Close the tool. Close real-time preview. Put it on. So now let's just drag kind of a bar across here. So we're kind of collecting the big star, some of these stars, some of this nebulosity. And we're going to see what it does. So let's open up Layer Exterminator, reset the tool. I always find that sharpen stars is a little aggressive. I like to back it down. Same percentage as the star halo. I'm going to bump up the nebulosity or the non-stellar sharpening, even though this really isn't a very sharp nebula. Let's just drag and drop and see what it does. You see some of these places where the mask is black. It's not really affecting some of these smaller stars, where if I didn't have that mask on, you see these smaller stars would all be sharp. They'd be so sharp they wouldn't even look natural anymore. And of course this star is sharpening up really nice. I like that. Drag and drop. Cool. You know, there was a time where I was thinking, oh, well, because I'm shooting the 2600 and it's a very rectangular sensor, that I would be rotating this, but I kind of like this rotation. I don't know, I might stand it up when I post it. I don't know. So I've got some magenta in here. I think I'm gonna work on that in Photoshop. I don't know, if you're one of those diehard Pixinsight people and you're like, no, you can't go to Photoshop. Well, see ya. Because here we go. Let's go to File, Save As, Boogie. We're going to go in here we're going to make a new folder called Processing. And we're going to save it as a TIFF. We'll leave it at Starless as the name. Hit Save. Okay. Change it to a 16-bit. And click OK. And let's dive into Photoshop. Okay. 2600, Orion 10-inch. I know I spelled Boogie wrong. Don't judge. Don't judge. No judging. It's cold. So it's funny how when you move into Photoshop, it's like, wow, that image is kind of bright. So let's this little eyedropper tool with a little crosshair on it. Let's click that, and we're gonna find a spot where we think we should have background space. Right there. You can tell we're in the 40s. With any image, I like to be low 30s, low to mid 30s at the most. So I'm going to come in here to Image, Adjustments, Levels. Push that red down to like a 35. Push the green down to below 35. And back to blue to like a 37. Yeah. It's a spooky looking image, man. Alright. I think I'm going to choose a smaller percentage of that just to brighten it just a little bit. And we're going to merge down. Make another copy. Go in here to select. We're going to go to color range, and we're going to try to grab this little magenta. Let's see if we can't kill off. Let's adjust the fuzzy. Click OK. Let's go here to select a mask. We're going to blur this mask or feather it. Hit Control and J. That takes that mask and puts it up on top. And then we're going to come in here to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. And we're going to go down to Magenta, and we're going to desaturate that. So you can see we really saturated it, desaturated it. Right there. Let's maybe grab a red here. Move the lightness down. And the blue. we're just going to do a master. Move that down. Merge down. Got some dark blue down here I don't like. Right in the corner. Right there. See how I grabbed it right here in this corner? Click OK. Go back in here to select a mask. Feather. Boop. Okay. Control J. And come back in here to image, adjustment, and hue saturation. I think that's a bluish tint I'm not really digging on. Yeah. See, that just kind of maybe hard for you to tell, but we just killed it right there. That's about all we're going to do. Merge down. Well, let's emphasize and try to get rid of some of it. We got some pink in here that I would like, come on, to be a little redder. Even though, yeah, even though we're at like 92. So let's do a select color range. We're just gonna pop it right there to increase the fuzziness. So see, we're getting quite a bit of the nebula and some of this background HA. This would be like the edge of Barnard's loop. Like that. Select. Let's blur that mask. We want to super blur it because we don't want any stars picked up in that. Control J. And with this one, I'm going to be a little more aggressive. I'm going to come down here to image adjustment, and I'm going to come to selective color. I'm going to choose neutrals, and I'm going to back out a little magenta. I'm going to back off the cyan, not the magenta. So just see, it just gives me a little deeper red. That's what I'm looking for. Cool. And then merge that down. Now, yeah, this needed a lot more time, but it looks good. I'm happy with it. So last thing is put a little glow effect, brighten the image up just a little bit. So first thing we're going to do, and no offense Polyman, but since I've got 1.9, I have not downloaded your script. I should. We're going to do one more thing though. We're going to come in here to select color range. We're going to really get in here and try to dig out that magenta. Yeah, see that right there? Bugging me, man. Select the mask. You guys are like, geez, I haven't seen him in eons, and then he bores me to death. Let's get aggressive on that. Image, adjustment, selective colors, neutral. Let's back the magenta out. Ooh, see, that gets it real aggressive. And merge down. Cool. Merge down again. All right, let's make a copy. Let's go in here to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Ooh, that's pretty blurry. That's blurry enough. All I'm doing with the blur here is I can still see some structure. You know, this would be too much. That would be nothing. So I want to see that. I want to get it blurry, but I can still make out the structure. So right about there, about 36%. And I'm going to adjust the, or change the blending mode to screen. And then I'm going to come in here to image and click apply image. And select OK. And now I'm going to adjust the opacity. So all the way down, back up. All that does, that's 50%. Wow. Let's maybe go down just a little bit. Right about there. And then if I feel like all this is kind of flattening out, I can take my eraser tool, nice and big. I've got it set to about 50% and just kind of So you can see I've kind of put this portion back to where it was. Try to catch that edge in this corner. Yeah. All right, and I'm gonna merge that down. And I'll click File and Save. So let's do a comparison. This is our original. File, open. I know that says Boogie. Shut up. Open. So I feel like we got some more depth, some better color. I've got some computer screen offset issues too, so this looks pretty color saturated to me, but then when I post it, it's like, where'd all the color go? So I'm gonna open up curves, and I'm gonna adjust the saturation. Trying not to get too saturated. Cool. Boogeyman Nebula. Yeah. It's pretty close to M78. Casper the Friendly Ghost. And the horse head over in that general vicinity. Yeah, needed a lot more time, but it is what it is. I'm digging it. Let's do an image. Let's go to geometry, and we're gonna rotate it. How should we rotate it? Clockwise? Ooh, see, it just gives a whole new flair. I kind of like that better now. Cool. All right. So, you know, you can look at this thing, and now I'm like, oh, look at this blue in here. That's too much blue. But I like it. It's always a work in progress, and I'll probably process this thing like 6 more times. But I did it live, kind of live. Didn't know what I was going to get. So I fought through problems and bored the heck out of you. But hope to see you again soon. Until next time, clear skies and clear minds.